Well, hello, and I hope you're doing better than me right now. I'm, you know, having a day, having a moment. My technology is failing miserably, and the software keeps crashing, so there's a good chance that this may end abruptly through no fault of my own and everything to do with OBS and Apple being Apple. Just bear with me for 1 second. I need to take care of something. I'll be right back. I apologize. It's just like 5 seconds. My apologies. I had left the TV running and I forgot to mute it. So it was a distraction in the background there and I could hear it. And I didn't want that. I know you don't want it. That kind of takes away from the whole purpose of what this is, right? So, yeah, apologies that I've not been around. I've been trying to commit to do this more frequently. My goal is to do this every Monday at 9 p.m. and occasionally, add some stuff for members throughout the week, 5 and 10 minute clips here and there. But it's been difficult as of late with, the fact that I'm now unemployed and searching for a job and, trying to get through the day, taking care of the dog. And there is construction going on in my building because there's new ownership that has taken over. And they are demoing, using demo crews that come in and they're knocking walls down in apartments. And what they're doing is they're taking 1-bedroom apartments and making them 2 bedrooms. 2 bedrooms become 3. And studios, or bachelors, depending upon where you live in this world, have suddenly become 1 bedrooms. So what this new ownership company is trying to do is just maximize their profits, which I understand, but it's difficult to try and concentrate and record anything, even though I'm trying to do some narration work. I have to do everything at night, it seems, due to the fact that, well, there's constant sounds of drilling and sanding and smashing and banging and crashing, and it's just nonstop noise. And it's taking its toll on me emotionally, along with my lovely dog, Lola, who gets a little anxious after a while when she hears all this additional noise. And, sorry, I was trying to close trying to close the door to the studio, but I can't quite reach it from here. Just to try and lower some background noise. 1 second, please. Sorry about that. I apologize. I didn't even mute my mic. That was a mistake on my part. I meant to mute my mic. The door is closed, so it should be a little bit quieter for you. Yeah, much better. It's amazing. It's my fault I left it open. I'm slightly distracted. It's been a bit of a day. Been a bit of a weekend, a bit of a day, been a bit of a lot of things. And one of the things that, has been troubling is just trying to figure out what I do now with my life that now that I'm 56, and I was laid off a while back, about a month ago, a little over a month ago, actually, 5 weeks ago to be precise. 5 weeks to today, actually. Now it's like, what do I do with my life? Is there a place and a purpose for me anymore? And I honestly, I just don't know. And I'm sure I'm not the only person at my age group feeling this who've suddenly found themselves unemployed due to the fact there was simply no work for them. And there's no work for me because I cannot do the construction work I did before, because it has destroyed my body, my back, my shoulders, my knees. It's getting in and out of bed is difficult for me. Some mornings trying to put on my socks, it takes time. And the sad thing about that is, and I'm not trying to be political here, but I'm just trying to tell you about where my headspace is. The sad thing about that is, because I've worked for multiple companies over the years, some of which no longer exist, I have no recourse. I have no recourse. I cannot go and make a compensation claim against a company that doesn't exist anymore. Or one that has changed hands and has different owners and changed names and has been bought out. I don't have that recourse anymore. So I find myself at 56 in a place I never thought I would be. Unemployed, broken down, and not knowing if I'm going to be able to go back to work anytime soon. Which has me concerned because, bills are due and money's getting tight. I do have EI to come in, which for my friends in the United States of America, that would be employment insurance, which means it's like unemployment insurance or whatever you call it. I don't know. Everybody calls it something different, but it would be a fund that I've paid into. Every employee pays into, and it helps to support you during times of unemployment, which nobody wants, myself included. But right now, that's kind of where my headspace is. I'm worried about what my future holds because I don't know that I can do. Well, I don't know what I can do, actually, because I'm not finding anything laid out there for me right now. And I cannot do construction or installation work anymore. I cannot do it. I don't want to find myself in 9 years at the age of 65 unable to walk without a scooter or a cane or a walker, or because I've damaged my body so badly so that my twilight years, as we call them, are just filled with pain and misery. I don't want that. Nobody does. So how do I, keep my quality of life up while doing what I do? And I don't know. I am starting some narration projects through ACX, which is also known as Audible. And hopefully that can prove to provide enough money that I can keep my head above water, but I don't know. It's all very anxiety-inducing. Look, at no point in our life do we actually know what the future holds. Nobody ever does. No one can. But when you have gainful employment and a paycheck every 2 weeks, there's a little bit more of comfort in that, if you will. No one ever knows what the future holds, but if you know you're getting paid in 2 weeks, there's something comforting about that. And right now, I don't have that comfort. And it is beginning to affect my mental health and welfare. Because I still have to go about, paying bills, keeping the roof over my head. And now that the building has been purchased by a company who is notorious for rent-evicting people, it's not going to happen to me. Or actually, there's only one vacant apartment on my floor, and it's like right about 60 centimeters away from where I'm sitting. And that's the one they're demoing right now and renovating. So I know that the company is notorious for rent-evicting people, and they do things like they renovate and make tons of noise and try and encourage people to move out and say, well, we'll renovate your place and, you can move back in. but it's going to be at a new price. I'm like, no, you don't need to renovate. I'm fine. My living conditions are acceptable. I can live with this. Well, we would really, no. I have tenant rights. I know what they are. And if you try and get heavy on me, I will get heavy on you. And you won't like that. So that's kind of where my head is right now. There's a million things happening. And not a lot of them are good right now. And that is what is dragging me down into the mud, if you will. It's what's got me anxious. It's what's got me on the edge. It's what has me worried, which is a normal human trait. I'm not worried to the point where I'm bedridden. It's not like that. I can still get up and function on a daily basis and do the things I need to do, take care of the dog, go for a walk, meet with people, have some friends, have a bit of a social life. I still am capable of all of those things. It's not got me to the point where I can't do anything. And I hope it doesn't. But I've got to be honest with you. It's entirely possible that that could happen. We're only human. And let's face it, when you get dealt with, when life gives you lemons, you should make lemonade. So I'm doing my best. I'm trying my best to stay positive and be happy, keep my head above water and be kind to everybody around me. But some days are difficult. Some days are difficult when you have the question every day. Am I relevant? Can I work again? Who can I work for? Will I get paid what I'm worth? Those are the anxious thoughts you have, and those are the ones that can really be destructive and damaging and can affect you to the point where you might get desperate enough to take a job just because you need the money. And a job that doesn't pay well, and a job that is demeaning to you from a physical standpoint. I made a decision a few years ago that I cannot go back to construction. I cannot go back to installation. I cannot do service work. I physically cannot do it anymore. Which means that limits what I can do. And this is where the anxiety kicks in and tells me, you're worthless. Nobody's going to want to hire you. You're old. You're past your prime. You can't do any of the things they need you to do. You're just going to be tossed aside by society. And those are the thoughts that anxiety brings in. Those are the thoughts that depression adds to the, that cocktail. They just keep throwing stuff into the mix. And I am hopeful that I can keep them at bay. That I can keep those thoughts away long enough so that I can find a way to get back to being who I am. To get back to being productive and feeling good about myself on a daily basis. And right now I'm not feeling great about myself on a daily basis. I find I'm very tired all the time, and that might have to do with, working 80 hours a week for the last few years. And that's probably taken a toll, and I've definitely needed the last few weeks off to try and rest and recover and recuperate. It's definitely, helping. But I think it's time to redefine who I am as a person. When it comes to the working world, if you will. I think from here on out, I will be a producer, a podcaster, a narrator, a voiceover actor, and an ASM artist. Somebody who can open up and talk about mental health in a forum where I welcome everybody who feels that they need to talk about their mental health. And I think that reinvention will make a world of difference for me. I just have to get my head around the fact that there might be might be a lot of craft dinner in my future until I can start bringing in some cash, And that's the funny thing, how we tie so much of our self-worth to how much money we earn. And I've never, well, now let me rephrase that. I have done that in the past when I was considerably younger. I've not done that in many, many years. However, when you have no money coming in, that can kind of be a kick to your self-worth. That can really drag you down, beat you around. When you don't know, if the money runs out, it's like, okay, I got to go to the RSPs. That's not what you want to do. Yes, I know. I can go to EI. I know that. But that won't be enough. Not to keep a roof over my head and keep food on the table and keep all the bills paid. I live a pretty quiet life for the most part. I live in my neighborhood. It's a 15-minute neighborhood. In some cases, it's 5 because now I can get beer at the corner store like 100 meters from here. It's a bit of a joke for those of you who know. For those of you who don't know, it's a thing that's happening here in the province of Ontario where I reside. The laws have just changed, so now. Anyway, I'm not going to get into it, but I thought I'd give you a little bit of whisper content in the meantime. For those of you who like to hear the whispers, I fully don't understand it because it's hard on my throat, and I can barely hear myself even with a good set of monitors. But for those of you who do like it, I'm glad that you do, and I hope that this is enjoyable and pleasurable to you. But now it's time for me to get back to my regular voice because it's difficult for me to speak like this. Had to clear my throat. So yeah, reinventing myself. It's one of those things when faced with it, I think for many of us, well, I'm speaking for myself mostly, but for many of us, when you want to redefine who you are, when you've always been one thing and you've decided that I need to be another and I need to pursue it with all of the gusto that I can muster, it takes some intestinal fortitude, for sure. Probably a little bit of courage, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how to quantify this. But I find myself heading down a path that I don't know how it will play out. Because this is complete entrepreneurship. And there's no guarantee of a payday. And that's a little frightening because I've always been of the generation, Gen X, where, get a good job, get your pay every 2 weeks, pay your bills, put away, blah, 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 blah. That was what we were raised by. Now, we all know that that's probably never actually really truly been the case for millions upon millions of people. Many of us have been hand-to-mouth for decades. Check to check, pay to pay. So I find myself in new territory. Still desperate to join the middle class. But struggling with unemployment, struggling with what my employment will be, struggling with what I will have to do, and struggling with the fact that I may have to go back and start a new position in a new place and be the new guy all over again at 56. Feeling like it's the first day of school in the 7th grade at 56. Now, if you're 30 or 40 years younger than me, you don't know what I'm talking about. then that's okay. I'm happy for you that you don't know what I'm talking about. Because I wouldn't wish anybody to go through what I'm going through right now, to feel what I'm feeling, to have that uncertainty of where does my next meal come from. I'm not there yet. I'm not. I have some runway. By the end of December, I will be in dire straits if I don't have revenue coming in. I've got till the end of December, so I do have some runway, but it's still not having anything lined up is really weighing heavy on my soul, my heart, my mind, and I don't want it to take a toll on my relationships, my friendships, on the work that I'm trying to do right now. But it's always there. And that's always in the back of the mind. As much as I'd like to ignore it, it's still there. Okay. I think I'm going to wrap it up. I know it's not much. It's only about 20 minutes worth of talking, but I'm kind of empty right now. It was a complicated day. Not a bad day. A complicated day. So I'm going to wrap up this evening. I will endeavor to produce more content this week for you. And I'll release it as it's produced. I've been bereft of thoughts and ideas. And it's like, what do I talk about? And I'm like, why don't I just talk about exactly what I'm feeling? And that's what you've heard for the last 20-some minutes. So thank you for coming by this evening. I do appreciate you. I can see the chat. It's off to the right here. And I haven't been paying a whole lot of attention to it only because I want to give you my full attention. Because this is me. Only me. And I feel you deserve my full attention. And I will always be honest with you. So I will be okay. I do know that. I will be fine. Just right now, it's the difficult part. It's not easy. It's not easy being green, right? Hey, come on, I still got a sense of humor about it. And I do have friends and family and a lovely wife who all support me and will not let me become destitute or homeless, which is reassuring. But in all honesty, I need to be able to stand on my own 2 feet. I mean, if I can't stand on my own 2 feet, am I still a man? I realize there's complexity to that question. But so much of what society deems and what I've been, taught my entire life is a man has to stand on his own 2 feet to take care of himself and those around him. Sometimes that's really difficult. But I will find a way. I will figure it out. And I will see you very soon. Thanks for coming by. Take care.